Hi, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Kimberly with Beauty by Sewn, and I want to say if you like the vibe, would love you to hit the subscribe. I am a makeup artist with over 15 years of experience in New York City and about a half a dozen years of experience in Canada. So lots to share, so much opinion. And right now I'm a pro artist for Bobbi Brown Cosmetics. So would love to share with you today how I get ready. So it's a get ready with me video, and I change these videos or produce them probably 4 to 6 times a year because I think that getting ready with me and watching different pros and artists, how they do their everyday makeup, you can pick up some cool tips, and it changes throughout the year. Time of year, weather, so wherever you're at, hopefully you can pick up some of my tips depending. You may need to adjust if you're in an extra humid climate or super dry desert climate. But I'm up in the Northeast and we've had a ton of rain, so it's quote unquote summer here, but doesn't feel 100% like summer, but I've so let go of spring. So I wanted to show you where I'm at in transitioning between warm and cool tones, and let's get started. I always change out how I'm prepping or priming my skin. The goal ultimately is to get that plump feeling to the skin and have a slight slip for me. I have normal skin that's dehydrated. So I've used a Bobbi Brown products. It's like Sisters Hydrating Eye Cream and a Hydrating Face Cream. And then I am actually going to use, it's an extra illuminating balm with a golden glow to it. So I find that this is a subtle way of giving me some warmth to my skin, but not too overpowering. I'm not, obsessed with self-tanner and trying to keep that tan. So this gives a little bit of warmth, and I'm always going for that glow finish. So if you're somebody who loves a glow, this is definitely the video for you. You can adjust, obviously, if you don't want to glow, go for a primer that's a mattifier or oil-free. Then I go actually into an oil-free moisture or foundation. I like priming and prepping my skin with super hydrating, glowing, illuminating product, and then setting it on top with an oil-free foundation. I get long wear, I have super long days, so I commute in and out of New York City, working up early, sometimes out late at night. So I find that a long wear oil-free foundation really sort of sets, but I still have that glowing finish from underneath, so it looks supple and plump, where we like the plump, but I don't. So again, you can use your fingers if you want a sheer coverage. You can use a sponge. You can use a beauty blender. Always wet your beauty blender first. Actually, beauty blenders work great with oil-free formulas because the water helps to blend it out. I am actually using a foundation brush, and I always start where I need it the most first. I have a few marks on my forehead. I think that's from playing with kids in the pool yesterday. And then so I start where I need it the most first. It's basically the point I want to get across. So I'm stamping and pressing the foundation where I need to. Stamping and pressing. And then gently sweeping where I don't maybe need as much coverage and I want to make sure it's blended. So you want to make sure, you've got a good quality foundation brush. If you find it separating a lot and leaving more streaks, then, maybe up your game and try and find a better quality one. Talk to the team at Sephora. They always have an opinion about what's the best brushes. And then, I work full-time for Bobbi Brown, so I get a lot of their brushes, obviously. So they do make great quality brushes. So this foundation brush is actually made out of, it's called Taklon. It's a synthetic that is a higher quality synthetic, so it doesn't separate. And the brush hairs, sort of help mix and mold with the foundation. And then I always go back, gently tap and press the foundation with my hands so that I get that really nice glowing finish. So, talking about glowing finish, I have become obsessed with setting my skin with a highlight powder. Some of you may think that's a little cuckoo, but I love it right now. So this is Moonglow. Makeup Shayla, actually, this is her favorite product. It's carried at Sephora, and I just gently go over my whole face with this highlight powder while my brush sheds. Goodbye, brush. Oh, God. Excuse me while I wipe the brush hairs off my face. So that brush is bye-bye. So Moonglow, I love. Again, there's a pink glow, there's a pink, there's a bronzy glow, but I'm in this in-between coloring, so I'm loving that Moonglow. It gives me that automatic finish. I have, like I was saying, these little spots on my skin, so I'm gonna actually go in and use a little bit of my under eye concealer and just go in where I need that little bit of extra coverage. I like doing concealer over top of a glow product because I find it just melts in a little bit better with the powder versus, you could try it either way. And I'll probably go back over anyway 1,000 times with more glow powder. But, I think with the high quality concealers that aren't overly thick, and if you've primed your skin so that it's more moisturizing, then really it shouldn't matter too much if you're doing more sheer applications of powders. So when you're covering up spots or hyperpigmentation, I actually want to deep dive a little bit into this. What you need to do is when you're trying to cover up that area of hyperpigmentation, try and draw, I call it almost like a crisscross over the area. So we can go back over any areas, almost just like an X marks the spot. And you can crisscross over. Then use your finger. You can use a beauty blender, but I love using the pads of my finger. And I'm gonna gently stamp for the coverage to blend it. I don't wanna sweep it because that is just gonna take away the coverage. And you can see with that Instant Full Cover Concealer, it builds up coverage, but it's not, looking cakey. And if you have a really troublesome spot that you just can't conceal, a lot of the times I will set the concealer on top, then gently go around the area that you've tried to cover, like gently tap it in, and just let the concealer almost melt into, say, that raised blemish area. But it's about getting the edges around the spot that you've concealed and making sure that that seamless transition of coverage from your problem spot into the clear skin is nice and smooth. So there we go. So now, you know what? I'm probably gonna go back in and throw a little bit more highlighter now on top of everything because I'm obsessed with highlighter. And there we go. So now let's jump into eyes. I do my makeup all the time on the train. So if you are on Instagram, would love you to follow me there because I'm always doing my makeup on the train. And I'm obsessed with these Longwear Cream Shadow Sticks. So they are super easy. You just put them onto bare skin. I get a lot of women asking me, how do I make sure that my makeup lasts all day and doesn't come off? I will use these cream shadow sticks. You can use your finger. Be careful though, your finger doesn't have eye cream and all that on it though. So if you're really worried about your eyeshadow creasing, coming off throughout the day, have a bare dry lid, pick up some Longwear Cream Shadow Sticks, and then gently blend with a brush or your finger. But remember, your finger needs to also be dry and not have any product on it, okay? So there we go. I'm again drawing the cream shadow stick onto my lid. I love this color, it's called Truffle. And then I always use my finger. I don't have as much a problem with makeup creasing on me because my skin is a little bit more dehydrated. And then just making sure that it's nice and seamless, coming, and the majority of color is sort of on my eyelid and onto my crease, and then more sheared out on the brow bone. So it's really sheer, gives sort of a bit of brightness. And then I'm gonna take Taupe Longwear Cream Shadow Stick, and with my eyes open, I'm going to bring the color into the crease, and then a little bit just on that outer corner. So I'm getting a subtle definition, and I'm blending it with my fingers. See that? Blending with my fingers. Again, you can use a brush, but I just gently blend with my fingers to just help create some shape to my eyes. So it almost doesn't even really look, see that? It doesn't look like eyeshadow. And we can always amp that up a little bit later. But I really want to show you sort of where I'm at on my basic Get Ready With Me every day. Now, if you haven't watched any of my videos before, and this is your first, well, welcome to the world of tight lining. This is Black Ink Longwear Gel Eyeliner, and there is nothing better. I take black ink, I take a huge chunk of it. You know, I clean off the brush each time that I go into the pot, even though it's just me using it. And I get quite a large amount of product. Sometimes I'll put it onto the back of my hand. And then this is actually a brush by Sigma. So any sort of small eyeliner brush that's a synthetic hair. And what you're gonna do is you're just gonna go underneath your eyelashes. See? Big difference. And you're going sort of up in that waterline. If you have a hard time with it, I want you to tilt your head back, grab a mirror, look up your nose. And then I want you to run the eyeliner brush with the gel, or you can even try this with a black pencil, like an eyeliner pencil. Just make sure it says, you know, creamy, waterproof. The creamier, the better. And if it's long wearing, that's why I love this gel liner, because it's almost like working with a butter, like butter from the fridge, when it's like kind of cold, warmish, room temperature. And then it just runs across the lash line, and it stays, it doesn't come off. So I always have a few baby wipes with me. And now I've rimmed my inner eye, and it helps my eyes to pop. So I sometimes find, like, if my eyes are feeling irritated or I'm tired, I sort of jump back and forth with my eye makeup. So it's up to you. I'm gonna keep going with my eyes just that we can stay focused on it. There is a brush I'm obsessed with. I'm obsessed with brushes in general, because I think, you know, the better the brush, the easier it is to do makeup. Brushes really are as important as the makeup itself. This is a smoky eyeliner brush by Bobbi Brown, and it's a soft little natural haired brush, and you can go into any eyeshadow you want. You can do shimmer, you can do a metallic, you can do a dark, you could do a navy, a green, a purple. I'm again just doing super natural. And along my lash line, I'm taking a shadow called Birch, which is actually just in a brow kit. But any sort of natural taupey kind of powder color, I'm going just along my eyelid, along the lash line. Because there's that cream shadow there first, it sticks. So I don't get a ton of fallout. I'm blending, you know, this cream shadow, or, you know, I'm blending the powder on top of the cream shadow. And gently, I try and do as much of my eye makeup with my eye open. And then bringing the shadow right out to the crease, the edge of the crease there, where my crease meets my eye. That's how I know how far out to go. And just sweeping back and forth. Just gently. One thing I've learned over the years too is that the softer the pressure, the more product you'll actually get off onto your skin versus overstamping. So I'm just bringing now this color sort of up the lid, sweeping it back and forth. And there you've got a really pretty sort of soft daytime smoky eye. I'm gonna take a little bit along the lower lash line. And you know, again, it's more of this hazy liner effect. So it's not that same harshness of like a full, you know, winter smoky eye. It's almost like a soft, summery, daytime, made for work-ish eye. I don't know, I need somebody from marketing to like tell me the right terms for it all. But you know, it's creating that sort of soft, warm haze. I do always have a little bit of eye cream on me, even on the train, and a couple of Q-tips, because because I have a lot of darkness. I have big eyes, right? But a darkness, and they're a little deeper set in the inner corner. So I'm very conscientious about making sure that if I did have any eye makeup fall, that I'm picking it up. And eye cream with a Q-tip is the easiest and best way. So I'm just going along and then tapping underneath. And it looks soft, it looks pretty. A little trick too is now I'll actually take a little bit, you know where I put the taupe? I'm gonna just go with that Birch Shadow and with an eyeshadow brush with my eye open, blend it into that outer half of the crease. So it's emphasizing, I guess, what I did with the cream shadow. You know, do you have to layer? No, but I find if I do cream shadow first and then if I want to amp it up, I do powder and it stays, and I get a little more intensity of color. You know, it looks super soft, blended still, but it's long wearing. So I can do this at 7 in the morning and I get home, you know, 7 at night, and honestly, the eye makeup is still where I wanted it to be. So you can see I've just built it all up with one eyeshadow color, it's Birch, but any taupe, grayish, warm tone that you want to emphasize your eyes with, know that it's gonna work. So that is my eye makeup. I am now actually using a lash grower. That was just something that fell, excuse me. I've been using a lash grower and I find it really helps. I was looking into lash extensions, but it's like a whole lifestyle choice that you have to make. And I already have enough going on in my lifestyle. So trying to use a lash grower. My girlfriend sells Rodan & Fields and I've been using their lash grower. And then I find that and it hasn't changed the color of my eye. I have blue eyes. So between that and then curling my lashes, I am loving the look I can get from my lashes. Now, the other thing I wanted to tell you is I ran out of smoky eye mascara and eye-opening mascara. So I went to the drugstore and I was like, what can I buy? So I have read a bunch of reviews on Voluminous L'Oreal mascara, and that's what I have been using lately, and I'm okay with it. I actually, for 10 bucks, this is not a bad mascara at all, and would recommend it if you're looking for, you know, something affordable. I would try this Voluminous mascara by L'Oreal. Gives a pretty, you know, a soft, feathery lash, and I picked up the blackest black color because I'm obsessed with making sure that my lash line is really black. And you can see, you know, it doesn't clump either. So yes, I'll wait till I get some more smoky eye mascara, you layer it with the eye opening, but again, I always promise to be real, authentic, tell you really what's in my makeup bag. And, you know, it's a mix of always a few things. So I'm lucky, obviously, to work for a brand that gives me great makeup to play with, but, you know, we all run out. So I wanted to share with you this little drugstore find if you don't already know about it. So you can see that's a great effect. So now also I'm gonna do my brows, and my brows have gotten a little wonky wonk. So I do get them threaded, shaped naturally, probably every 2-3 months, and then I tweeze in between. So I'm gonna use actually this Birch Eye Shadow with the eye definer brush. And you can use, you know, choose a color. Just make sure, you know, whatever product you use, just make sure that it matches the root of your hair into your highlight. And, or if you color your hair, right? If you color your hair a warmer tone, a lot of times if you have a darker brow, then you just need to make sure your brow actually has a little bit of that warmth in it. I find as women get a little bit older, their brows become sort of more ashy, and they're coloring their hair warmer tones, but then their brows are cool. So just make sure you're adding that warmth into your brows. Just step back and take a look. So this is Birch Eye Shadow. It comes in a brow kit by Bobbi Brown Cosmetics. It's a great sort of neutral brown, grayish, taupey tone. And it's, again, it's blending in with my natural brow hair. It's a little bit on the warmer side. So we'll see how it looks when I take a picture. You know, it may flash a little warm. So a little trick too for that is that if your brows are flashing orange or too cinnamon in a picture, actually just take your face powder, whatever color it is at home, like your neutral colored face powder, and dust that through the brow. And it'll help sort of ash it up and blend it in with your skin tone, so it won't be as orangey, artificial looking. So the other thing I always do is I take a blank mascara wand. So no matter where you are in the world, if you go to a Bobbi Brown Cosmetics counter and say, Kimberly Sohn said I could have a blank mascara wand as a gift, then you will get a gift. I always go back with a blank mascara wand and brush the hair with the product, no matter what product I'm using. And it just helps to blend the two together. So you can see it just looks a little bit more natural. So again, brushing the product through with a blank mascara wand. It's gonna just help diffuse the color a little bit, and I'm going to get a little bit more of a natural shape that isn't as ornate. And I can always go back then and see where I need a little bit more hair. So I'm not sure if you can see on the video here, but, or a little bit more color. I have like a little blank spot. You know, I think too, one of the biggest things that when I teach makeup is that, remember there's 3 sides to your face. So yes, there's, you know, your front side when I'm looking at you in the mirror, but there's then, you know, your right side and your left side. So when you're done your makeup or when you're doing your makeup, especially your eyebrows, your eyes, your blush, always just look straight on and then turn and check the sides of your face as well, because, you know, you're 3D. You're not just 1D or 2D, whatever D. We're not a D at all. We're like A+. So just make sure, again, that that is perfected. If you're still feeling wonky about your brows, a little tip you can do is, in fact, take your concealer and you can take a little bit of your concealer, right? And I'm just gonna put a little bit on the back of my hand, and I'm going to take my concealer brush and I'm gonna go under the base side of my brow just to create that nice clean edge, or as clean as it can be before I go for a wax or tweeze or threading. There, so it just helps to make it a little bit more defined and going along, because sometimes it's not about adding more product, it's just about cleaning up what's already there. There we go, and just tapping the concealer. You can either use the same color skin tone concealer you have. You can go a little bit lighter if you like a little bit brighter brow bone. Just make sure it's not too frosty, whatever it is that you set up there. So there are my brows. There are my soft, sort of hazy, summery-ish kind of eyes. And now I have to put some color into my face. So you can really tell, you know, it's great to, you know, spend all this time on your eye makeup, but just make sure that, you know, you step back and see where your skin is at. That's where I do love it, when you do have a little bit of extra time. You can see, you know, what's going on. You can stop a feature and then go back to it. And sometimes you'll see your makeup more objectively, and you can fix or tweak it from there. So let's take a look. When I pull back, you know, obviously I need concealer and I need a little bit of color into my skin. So what we're going to do is we're going to go for concealer. I just find I don't know why I'm showing more tired under my eye lately. It is what it is, but I've been using a corrector, and this is light PeachBisque. So I just put the corrector where I need to, which is right always in that inner socket, in that inner half of my under eye, and right in that inner corner. I might drag a little bit through the whole under eye socket, but I put the majority of the product right at that inner corner and then bring it down. So again, you can tap with a, you know, concealer brush. You can tap with a beauty blender. I find using the padding of my fingertip really just sort of melts the product away. It doesn't move it too much, and it really helps to just sort of put it into place without moving the product. Now I'm going to go for this Instant Full Cover Concealer, and I'm going to bring the concealer down a little bit lower below my eye socket. I find, you know, I've been getting a lot of women asking me, but how do you make it not crease? I don't know if it's because I prime my under eye with Bobbi Brown eye cream. You know, I'm constantly making sure that my under eye is smooth and hydrated. But, you know, again, you don't have to use as much as I'm using. So it's just more the technique to give it a go. If you find you have really textured skin on your cheeks, then maybe don't put the concealer on your cheeks, or try like a primer that is a mattifier, is like a blurring effect primer. There's actually, Bobbi Brown's launching one, I think it might be out in the stores now. So you could give that a try to help see. But again, concealer, at least just put a small amount on and make sure that your under eye is 1 to 2 shades lighter than your face. And then that way your under eye looks brighter, more lifted, you look less tired, your whole eye look will look brighter. Just your whole face will look brighter. So I really hope that you see the difference on me, because I can't leave the house without concealer and mascara. So now I have done, you know, my face, and I want to now blend in my cheek color. So what I have also been loving is, because again, you know, I'm not into this pink mode like I am in the winter, but I'm also not into golden bronzes. I have been sort of into these more peachy tones. So this is a Pot Rouge. So it is a cream blush, and it's really soft, and it's called Fresh Melon. So I just think it's so pretty. It keeps that glow to my skin. If you are oily on your cheeks, you know, stay away from cream blushes. Go for a powder blush. Again, that might be in like a soft peach tone, especially for this time of year. And then, yes, I go back for more highlighter. So I'm obsessed. It's a highlighter. It was called Afternoon Glow, But you could, go for a little bit of a bronzy color. You could go for a shimmery blush that you have at home. But I just love this sort of not bronze, not pink, in between color. A little bit too much on my nose there. I get really carried away with highlighters, so I gotta keep, that's actually a good effect for you to see is don't have the bridge of your nose or the ball of your nose be highlighted with a pink tone because then it looks junior in your makeup. So make sure that, your cheek is where there's the pink and you look color there. So what's interesting actually is you can see my chest has a little bit of that surface pink to it. So I'm going to actually dust a little bit of bronzer through my neck, around my chin. So you can see right away by just taking that bronzer gently, I'm just tinting the warmth of my skin up a notch. So this is medium bronzer, but I'm keeping the center of my face clear because I know that the concealer, was the right color. So it's just a little bit more so that that surface tone, your neck and chest, blends up into your face. So that's a really good tip for this time of year where, I hope most of you are protecting your face, your neck and chest with an SPF, but a lot of times we might forget or you're out exercising. Just make sure, double check, and that's where bronzer can help color connect your face, your neck and your chest all together. Now, again, like I was saying, I'm not 100% into pinks this time of year, not into like bright oranges all the time. This everyday wearable, I am obsessed with Beige Artistick. And then, just to pull in that melon tone, I've been going for a melon colored lip gloss. So it's a little bit warmer, but still nude. So it's almost a melon warm nude color on my lips, blends and matches into the cheek. Always make sure your cheek and lip color, same family. Peaches, pinks. If you go for a red lip, go for a pinkish cheek. Cool? All right, huge hugs. Thank you so much for watching. I'll post all the products in the comments, like in the notes section below, and I will post a final pic on Instagram. Huge, huge hugs. Hope you found some of these details and tips helpful for you to recreate your beauty at home. Bye.